Tell us a little bit about the Kerala startup ecosystem. Is it booming? What is going on here?
You cannot have a hard and fast rule for setting this context. Like what you can do is only to spread the awareness, because security starts with awareness.
Are you seeing a shift happening in what was traditionally very on-prem to moving to cloud, and especially now because of AI?
You never know what would be the after effects of these things. Every domain needs cybersecurity, be it healthcare, be it edtech, be it retail, commerce, or manufacturing.
Hi everyone. We are shooting on the sidelines of CIO Association's Kerala chapter's annual event here in Kochi. And I'm thrilled that joining me today is Lakshmi Das. She's the co-founder of Prophaze, which is a native cloud security platform. I'm going to be talking to her about her journey as an entrepreneur. I'm going to be talking to her about what she's seeing in the world of cybersecurity today. It's a very important topic. We just attended a session where a lot of new information about what's going on in this world was spoken about. So I'm curious to hear what her views are, and I'm sure you are too. Thank you for being with us, Lakshmi.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about who you are, your journey of co-founding this company, and a little bit about the company also.
Yeah, first of all, so thank you, Anjali, for inviting me and allowing me to be part of the show. So it's definitely a privilege. So to talk about myself, I'm Lakshmi, co-founder of Prophaze Technologies. So we are two co-founders. It's me and Vaishal. So I actually started my career with Infosys and was mostly working on their banking domain, banking product called Finacle and all of that. And Vaishal comes from this international consulting background, where he was very passionate about security and all the reverse engineering aspects and all. So that's where we kind of confronted a situation wherein before the COVID time, I mean, security was always an afterthought for everybody. Everybody was happy with their sweet network firewall setup, and they would not even think beyond that. Or a product functionality was, the main prioritized thing, right? But post-COVID is where scenario drastically changed. So that's when actually we confronted a requirement, a global requirement, where a client was having an application which was on Kubernetes, and that's where we understood that when we were trying to solve this security problem, we could figure out that there aren't any solutions particularly catering to the security space where the technology was moving forward to across the globe, right? So the entire applications were getting containerized and Dockerized and all of that. Microsegmentation was kind of pitching in, but security was not evolving as at the same pace of where technology is evolving, right?
Right.
So that's where we found out that despite all these global vendors focusing on security, this was a niche space, and this was a market gap. So we thought, okay.
What year time frame
that was
this?
Like way back in 2018.
Okay.
So that's when we started building something to initially to address this particular scenario. Once that happened, we thought, okay, this is like something really good that it has evolved to, which would definitely be a good contribution to the industry where this gap exists, right? So that's how we launched this product into the market. But as soon as we launched, what happened was like 2019, right? We all know what the world, saw. Everything was totally a chaos, total unexpected as that when, the advent of COVID. But COVID was actually a boon in disguise for, the industry of cybersecurity, right? That's when this afterthought
right. Everyone was taking their laptops home, logging in from,
that's where the hasty decisions of moving to the cloud, digitization and all of that kind of came in. So this is where everybody was like, okay, now we've put everything on the cloud, now what next? How do we get it secured? Even though cloud providers might provide their security inbuilt, but if you have to have a very specialized security solution, then you have to go for a specialist in that area, right? So that's where we were there. So little bit we know that this was actually solving a real use case, because we had just launched a product in the market and when the world shut down. But we got an inquiry actually from the US. They visited our website. They Googled for a Kubernetes-based web application firewall. So they landed on our website and came to us. Despite of all the global vendors being there, that's when we understood that Prophaze was the world's first web application firewall to be architectured on Kubernetes.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
it
It
was
was a discovery that happened
Yeah.
while you were going in
solving
market.
a problem,
Wow,
right?
nice, nice.
So that's it. Kind of happened unexpectedly. So even we were not, knowing that this would be we would have that first mover advantage.
Right.
And that too from India, right? So that's how we had that advantage over the other global vendors, and
Right.
we onboarded our first customer, that too from the US. But when we came to the Indian market, we understood that here Kubernetes adoption is not that fast, or here people are still discovering whether to be on the cloud or still on-prem, or there's a transition, or there's a hybrid setup. So that's when we understood that flexibility of deployment is what people actually require. Most of the vendors, either they only concentrate on the cloud application security or on-prem, right? Sometimes we find that people who are in the medical sector or in the banking sector or the defense sector, they do not want to move their workloads onto the cloud, right?
Right.
So they would have it on-premise, on their own service. So this is where we kept everything, very flexible deployment. So we have both on cloud as like a SaaS model, and we could also deploy on the cloud, right? On-prem. So this kind of was very, luring for the customers, because they could have the flexibility of, having a single security for both their cloud workloads and also the on-prem. So this was an advantage. And what we understood, that security should never be complicated, right? Because there are a lot of solutions, deploying them takes weeks or months. So we wanted to simplify security, right? We wanted to make it, where people can really, if they're investing in a solution, then they do not have to invest in another security to actually, implement and monitor that particular tool, right? So we kept security very simple. We understood that the problem behind the other solutions, or the feedback when we took from the real industry folks, we understood there's lack of support, because most of them are foreign vendors. They would just have their partners here, and if they have to log something, if they have facing some issues, then they'll have to go behind ticketing and wait for long. So we understood that, support and the ease of deployment is very crucial aspect. And another aspect is, like, you cannot have security solutions in silos. Like if you're catering to, since we cater to the application security, we cater to the entire thing, where we're offering like web application firewall, or a CDN, load balancer, DDoS solution, a bot mitigation solution, everything as a single platform, so that you don't have to depend on vendor A, B, C, D, E for all of this.
So how has that now changed in the age of shadow AI, right? There's so many large organizations have employees that are accessing, AI tools and, using AI constantly. So because I wanted to stretch your thought a little bit and tell us.
So basically, when AI is actually stepping into the picture, into the industry, that's where a lot of people, because something really new, right? Everybody's discovering different models, LLMs. Every time you see something new coming into the industry, the agentic AI and everything coming, right? So this
and
is
everyone's testing and playing around with it.
Playing around without knowing what are the after effects or whatever, right? What would be the next future of AI, right? So this is where a lot of people knowingly or unknowingly are actually giving up their data into some models. So which is not their own proprietary models, right? So you don't know where your data is going to. You don't know. Everybody is like, even though people say that, don't expose too much of information there, because it's not your own model. So we are trying to build our own LLM models, which can be trained so that we can use it for our own purpose. But at the end of the day, if you're using another model, your data has anyways been extracted and it is used to train their model, right? So this is where you have to be very cautious. So now the world is actually, it's like security for AI. So AI is used for security, but now how do you secure
AI and AI secure, right?
So it's like this. AI is always a double-edged sword. But definitely when this AI, the world is moving forward and AI.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a use case, right? So a few months ago, I heard, in the marketing circles, there was this story that was going around that of a very well-known analyst from a very well-known analyst firm actually uploaded his presentation so that he could get a summary of it, right? So he uploaded his presentation that had a lot of data, research work and everything, just to get the summary. And the next thing he knew that within a few hours, a lot of his colleagues, when they were doing research work on ChatGPT, they were using ChatGPT. That research work was showing up. How do you prevent something like that?
That's what. So basically, you cannot have a hard and fast rule for setting this context. Like what you can do is only to spread the awareness, because security starts with awareness.
Yes.
I mean, everybody, but sometimes even the security experts also fall prey to such situations. Not that these analysts never knew about these, but these are things that, you know, the
just
whole,
everyone's using AI like search, Google search.
So this is where a lot of awareness has to be generated, be it between the experts or with the layman, right? I think it should start from the school level, where even the kids nowadays, they are not knowing what they're doing, right? They are exposed to things that they are not supposed to get exposed to. They're using AI maybe to create some, attack tools or something, because they feel that it's like a game. It's like a game. They get that adrenaline rush, and then they just want to have some thrills out of it, right? Because they're all now mostly everybody is at homes exploring different things on their laptops or screens. So this is where everything has to be used with a cautious mentality, right? Because you never know what would be the after effects of these things. So if you use everything with a conscious thought, so that's where you will have a balanced approach, because you cannot avoid anything, that's where the world is actually using all of these tools. Otherwise you'll fall behind.
I'm going to switch tracks a little bit now, and I'm going to talk to Lakshmi as the person. So you're a postgrad in cybersecurity from MIT. Now you came back and you are focusing on the subject you studied, which is amazing. A lot of people don't do that, right? So talk to us a little bit about what made you come back, and now you're, of course, in India, solving in your home, solving for the world.
So, what actually is the thought why we started, Prophaze in India is like many people, when we were solving this, had this use case and came up with this product idea, right? All the mentors from across the globe, told us, because you're into Kubernetes, where the world is heading to, and mostly people in the West would be more fascinated by what is your software, right? But we wanted to stay with the roots. I mean, we took a very totally not taken route, right? We started from Kerala, so people would have never expected, like usually
is Kerala your home?
Yes. So both of us are from Kerala. So we thought, why not? Why don't we take the road which is not taken?
Tell us a little bit about the Kerala startup ecosystem. Is it booming? What is going on here?
Definitely. I mean, usually there was a trend that if you have an idea, then okay, you go to one of the metros, with Bangalore or Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, wherever, and then establish something there. Mostly everybody has this idea of going to Bangalore and starting it wherever you are based, or because that is like the Silicon Valley of India, right?
Correct.
So that's where now the things are changing with the Kerala Startup Mission and everything coming into picture, assisting the startups, giving them exposures, giving them events, and also global exposure, things like that, and funding assistance. So there are a lot of startup ecosystem enablers coming here, and even the government is actually trying to bring in some kind of funding systems and support system, which was not that relevant earlier.
Also trying to attract a lot of industry investments.
Definitely, things are changing,
like cyber parks and all of that, right? IT parks.
Things are definitely changing. Despite Kerala having the first IT park of India, still the largest, but still it just stayed behind because of some gaps or some regulatory things like that. But now things are and now it's catching up with a lot of investments, a lot of IT parks from everybody investing here, with a lot of great workstations and spaces, especially in all these IT parks. Things are definitely changing for good.
Good. So a lot of innovation coming out.
Innovations, definitely. That was really
innovation needs cybersecurity. So
definitely, whichever domain. The specialty about cybersecurity is that every domain needs cybersecurity, be it healthcare, be it edtech, be it retail, commerce, or manufacturing. Everywhere you have to be secure enough.
So let's stay with that thought, and this is my last question, I promise. let's stay with that thought for a while. Now, obviously, you work with multiple industries, right? Now, and earlier you were talking about how there are some industries that are particularly on-prem, some are open to going to the cloud, some are hybrid, multi, all of that. Are you seeing any dramatic shifts in some of these highly regulated industries? Because now there is also a very high degree of security protocol in these companies and in the industry in general. Are you seeing a shift happening in what was traditionally very on-prem to moving to cloud, and especially now because of AI?
Actually, now I see a lot of people coming back on-prem also. I mean, the
repatriation.
Shift, yeah, I mean, the shift is happening here and there. But the thing is, like, one major shift that has happened is, like, in India at least. I mean, there's a lot of push because of the DPDP and the data sovereignty aspect coming into picture. A lot of people are now looking up to Indian, indigenous homegrown solutions for security, because that's what we had contributed. Like, when we had secured the airports, 3 major airports out of the 6, we could be securing them against major DDoS attacks, where even international products failed, and there were 6 to 12 hours of downtime. And another thing is, like, one of our largest financial institution was also having a downtime. We could secure them in just 3 hours. We brought back everything. Even we could play a very integral role during the Operation Sindoor, where a lot of Pakistan activist attempts were blocked because of our software in major governments and all the financial regulatory bodies and healthcare institutions. So this actually brought Prophaze into the limelight, where even I got an opportunity to meet our Prime Minister in person and talk about what Prophaze has been doing with AI power, contributing towards Indian cybersecurity. So I was the only Indian cybersecurity company from India representing the domain, and also only one from the Kerala industry, right? So I got an opportunity to talk to the PM for 3 minutes about how we had contributed, and also the challenges that we face, where Indian security solutions are not being trusted by our own people, right?
Correct.
This is where I urged him to that the situations should change.
Right.
So he actually gave me a word of assurance that companies like Lakshmi's will definitely be given preferences in governments and things like that. So when this comes from the leader, like, you're looking forward to, it really means a lot.
Gives you a lot of hope.
Yeah, I mean, for all the pains that you've gone through, right? So this is how I feel the trend is changing.
Yeah.
India is changing. That's where we have becoming, instead of becoming just consumers, now we are becoming the producers of technology, and where we are going to a situation where we can rely on ourselves, right? Because we wouldn't want somebody intruding into our security space, right?
Yes.
So this is where I feel the industry is actually changing too.
Excellent. Lakshmi, I cannot tell you what a pleasure it has been. You are not just incredibly smart, you're also very inspiring. So congratulations on your journey. Congratulations on being successful, and I hope you have much, much more success with Prophaze.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.